If you've ever seen me survive off of nothing but a bag of almonds in a non-vegan friendly country, you'll know I'm a master of survival. That's a true story, actually.
For real?
That's
What country?
A true story.
You don't even travel.
Peru?
Just kidding.
How dare you? Anyways, today we're going to talk about how you can survive as a musician. This is very relevant to some people during these pandemic times, right?
Yep.
However, around us anyway, some places are starting to open up.
Yep.
And we're just going to talk about some of our experiences as being performing musicians who also supplement our incomes in different ways and always have for a long time.
For a very long time, legal ways, by the way.
That's right. On our OnlyFans, we'll tell you the real high-paying illegal stuff.
Correct. But we don't go there.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to assume that you want to make a living as a musician playing out and performing.
Correct.
Okay? So we'll take, income stream A as being live shows.
Live shows it's the number A.
Right? Number A. That's right.
Letter A.
Andreas has been able to survive this long without learning how to read or write. He's been doing a great job thus far.
It's my favorite number.
My inspiration.
That's why my name starts with an A.
Right? Yeah.
My favorite number.
You always find a way to make it all about you. Letters or numbers, doesn't matter. So yeah, playing out, performing.
Playing out.
I would say there's a couple different ways.
Let me guess the second one.
No, let's focus on this for a second.
Okay.
There's a lot of different ways that you could do this. You could be performing, like in our area, we live in Sarasota, Florida, which is a touristy town.
Very touristy.
So most of the gigs are, restaurants, bars, stuff like that, events.
Tourist people that come and want to have a great time and listen to great music with great looking people.
That's why we are in high demand.
Right? High demand.
Lucky for us. But there's also a lot of different ways that you can perform playing weddings, right?
Of course. That's private events,
right?
Weddings, funerals, which I don't do, but people actually do.
Sure, yeah.
If that's your thing,
hey, whatever. You know what I mean? We're not here to judge. Any way that you can survive being a musician.
Whatever floats your coffin
is what's up. I've never heard that one before.
I made it up.
But yeah, that's pretty good. Playing the festival circuit. Now, circuits and scenes.
Festival. That's one I don't do because I haven't had the chance to do it.
Yeah.
But that's something. I mean, I've done a festival before. So much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my favorite.
Yeah, and I would say that's like a whole scene.
It's a whole, where they actually listen and stuff.
So the one thing that I want to stress for people who are trying to find out where they fit in the music industry, what they want to do, is you have to be doing what you want to do. Now we're going to talk about different ways that you can supplement what you're already doing in different kind of scenes. But if you want to live a festival life, you've got to get in that scene. Because it's hard to break.
I haven't done.
It's very hard to break it, as you know. It's hard to break into a scene from a different scene.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You can make a great living as a local musician playing local gigs and stuff like that.
It's like finding your niche. Once you find kind of your niche, you kind of go for that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's hard to get out because that's what you have at the moment, and you're successful at it.
So a lot of this is going to be about where you focus your energy and the contacts and stuff that you make.
Exactly.
Right. And then the upper echelon stuff would be maybe get a record label deal and play venues and tours and stuff like that. That's not our scene. You know what I mean? We're working class, guys.
Currently.
Yeah, we're working class musicians, right? So let's say that's your main thing, which can be spotty, for a lot of people. Especially recently, they've lost their opportunity to gig more than maybe they regularly could. Right?
Yeah, I would say almost most of the working musicians. I mean, I'm one of them. 3 months, no work.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So you got to find ways to monetize different streams, even if it's just a little bit of a thing.
Even live streaming, I did that for a while. So that's something you can do whether there's pandemic or not.
Yes, exactly. That's live streaming is great. I try to go live on my channel once a week.
And it's cool. Sounds good. Looks good.
Yeah, right? Thank you. And so the point, though, is what you should be doing when you have a gig in person, you should be finding a way to capture those people's information.
Correct.
Whether it's follow you on some kind of social media, whatever social media you're comfortable running.
Exactly. Whatever you trick them into giving you their email like they do at Victoria's Secret.
Sure. Yep. Every time.
And they're like, okay, you want to buy this? Okay, what's your email address? And I'm like, why do I need to give you an email address to check out? Oh, no.
Nice try.
Because you want to subscribe me to your mailing list, but you're not telling me.
But if you're at Andre's show, he's not going to take these. Let's just put your email address down.
Exactly.
So yeah, mailing list has been big for you.
Yeah, mailing list is a great way to keep in contact with people that some of them, they are people who don't have a Facebook page.
Right.
I mean, I don't know where they hide, but there are some.
Sure, there's some people out there.
And it's good to have one way that you can always contact them no matter what. Because I have Facebook, I have all platforms. I have Tinder. No, I don't have Tinder. But at the end of the day, what do we check on a daily basis? I check my email every day.
Sure.
I think most people check their emails. So
yeah,
and
for you, a lot of times during the pandemic, people who would usually see you live have been able to support you on the live streams because you've been able to keep in contact with them.
Yeah. So use your social media.
What I want to stress though is, like I said earlier, use the social media that is comfortable for you to use. Like, I think it's really easy to get bogged down and be like, I have to have a YouTube channel, an Instagram, a Facebook, my Snapchat,
and you don't really
my
have,
TikTok,
you don't
my
have to
LinkedIn.
do anything. That's the thing. When people
I mean?
see it like they have to do, or they have to have.
No.
That's when you're not enjoying what you do anymore.
Right?
You gotta see it more like, what would be great to do, not what do I have to have or do.
Perfect. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Facebook, so I don't really use Facebook at all, But I like Insta.
I noticed you never respond my messenger.
Oh, see, it's not
messages.
just you. It's not just you. Now, let's talk about YouTube, okay? So YouTube is kind of my main thing at this point. You do a lot of great stuff on your channel.
It's gonna be my main thing at some point.
Check out his channel. It's linked in the description. Whether you have aspirations of being a YouTuber or not, YouTube is a great free resource for any musician.
It's amazing.
Right? Even if it's nothing else but like put some of your live performances up and you're not even trying to get people to see it, but you can send it to prospective people that might hire you.
Exactly.
It's the easiest way for anybody to consume your content. It's free, you just put it up, it's whatever. And
then it's your own TV show, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe people will see it. Again, don't bank on that because that stuff is out of your control. Yeah. But at the very least, it's a great, well-known and trusted hosting site for any content that you might have.
The problem is when people go like, oh, I just want views and fame, and that's when they get frustrated and they give up and they don't do any more videos, they don't post anything, but because that's not the point. Use it as a tool, just like the tools we're talking about.
Yeah, and I think as you start doing more things, there will be offshoots. Like for me, YouTube has become my main thing. The only reason I even started that was because I was teaching, which we're gonna talk about in a second.
And I wanted a way,
yeah, and I wanted a way to communicate to my students and kind of like make visual lessons to like recap what we were doing. So teaching, I think teaching has very long been a supplement for a lot of musicians for when they're not, gigging, to kind of like help spread the knowledge.
Teaching is a great way, yeah. Like when I first moved here many years ago, I started serving because I wasn't confident about my English yet, and so my wife pushed me to get students. And I'm like, but how am I gonna communicate with them? And she said like, it's music, use your hands, and it's like, it's music, you'll be fine. And so I was able to get students, and that was my first beginning of a transition into a full-time musician.
Yeah.
Bunch of students, and then I dropped my serving gig and I started getting gigs, like 2 gigs a week and stuff like that. So it's a transition, but once you have to do the jump, you have to jump.
Exactly.
The problem is fear and stuff. But
for sure. And also, like I said, where you invest your energy. I think a lot of people are like, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and this is going to help me become like a great like touring, performing musician. I feel like if you hit YouTube hard and you slay YouTube and you're awesome at YouTube, you're a YouTuber. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't necessarily, it's just like going from like a local scene to a festival scene to like an EDM scene. Like YouTube is its own scene. Right? And like taking any kind of success off platform, thinking that like this is going to be something that you're going to easily be able to pivot into something else, I think you might be disappointed in that, right? But seeing it as a supplement to what you're already doing, I think is very important.
Yeah. And the most important thing is that eventually all the tools that you are using can actually come together.
Totally.
So because we're going to talk about the Patreon. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, just
another tool.
Other ways to connect with your fans. Patreon is something that I was kind of resistant to for a long time. And then it's like, well, actually, this is like a good way to kind of teach something sequentially. Because most of my videos are just like, one-offs, essentially. you know, and it might not help somebody that's at a different like skill level. So people kept like, well, how do I organize this? And I'm like, well, there's really no good way to organize it. So I started a Patreon to teach songs, because I don't really teach songs on my channel, and then to teach like a very beginner to, you know, wherever I am now course.
Yeah, it's a great way.
Right? Yeah, and that's just been like another way to supplement. It doesn't have to be huge.
And a lot of the people that like what we do, they are anyways, they're trying to look for ways to support.
Yeah.
To show their support. So why might as well offer them a way to support in which they also get some perks, you know?
Yeah.
Very cool things that they can
exactly.
get. Like in mine, I offer like early watching a video, you know? Some people actually like to be able to see it first.
Sure.
It's a weird concept to grasp.
Yeah, and that's what I like. I first thought of it as just a way to take handouts, and that's why I didn't do it for so long. But then when you think about it, like, well, there's a lot of people out there who just tip you a 5 or a 10 or a 20
Exactly.
or whatever, and if they don't have the opportunity to do it for whatever reason, they still want to support you.
Exactly.
Just give them the chance to.
Give them the chance,
you
because
know what I mean?
because it feels good. Like I have supported, I have given in the past,
Sure.
and when you do, it feels great.
Yeah.
So if it causes joy, and it helps mutually, you know, why
Yeah.
not? Might
Yeah.
as well.
And that's
So
kind of
Patreon is good.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about just like teaching in general. Like it just feels good to like teach and like help people. kind of do that
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly.
That being said, not everybody makes a great teacher. You know what I mean? Don't feel like you have to teach, because you know it takes
These are
patience.
options.
It takes,
The more options you have, the
Yeah.
better. The better ways to survive. as
Exactly.
an
We're talking about survival.
We're talking about survival here, okay?
Yeah, you got to get your stuff online streaming, right?
Live
and
streaming,
then, and then use whatever following you have, whether it's live or whether it's just all online, to push that stuff.
And live streaming is kind of another. It's like another video, right? Because you know how Taylor Swift that didn't want streams because it paid very little and she
Yeah.
wanted people to buy the music or something.
Sure.
And so it depends, but at the end of the day, you just want your music to go everywhere, no? Well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I
I
just
want
think
a
the
lot
more-
of people
the
to
more
hear
ex-
what I do. You
The
know?
more exposure, the better. Like you know, you're probably not going to make a ton of money off of streams. Like that's just the reality of it. You know, to have reasonable expectations.
But that's how John Mayer, John Mayer, his music got shared on Napster. It was like a free download. That's how he started.
Oh, really? That was,
Yeah. He started putting his music in Napster, and so suddenly a lot of people knew about him. That's what I saw in an interview or some kind of documentary. I forget where I saw it, but it was an interesting thing because it wasn't like on purpose, but people ended up finding him from just downloading his music. So
There we go. Very interesting.
it's a great way to get people to know who you are.
Yeah,
what you're doing.
I think what we've both learned is how you're going to monetize what you do is all about the people that you meet and opportunities coming from that. Instead of stuff just kind of like falling from like the digital realm.
Exactly.
Right? It's
Yeah.
great. It's great. You have to have all that stuff up there, but like actually, like you said, like maybe someone just notices or someone finds a stream or it gets shared. As unlikely as it is, that could lead to like a great gig and that could lead to something else. And then all of a sudden you're crossing, you know, into like a different type of scene.
Yeah, because the more things that you do, the more your chances of when they say, "Oh, you'll eventually meet the right people." They used to say this a lot when like the people were searching for to sign you as
Oh yeah, right.
to be signed
get
at
like
a
a
label
record
or
deal or
whatever.
something,
So
yeah.
they was always saying like, "Oh, keep playing. Maybe you'll find the right person." But it still applies because I have met amazing people at my gigs that ended up becoming like angels of like I had people that donated
Oh yeah.
a sum of money that actually paid for this studio. Like I never revealed this live actually before. But
Yeah, one dude just came out and was like, boom, make it happen. Yeah.
because he believed in me. Did
Yeah.
I cry like a child? No. But did I cry like a child later after the same day?
There were
Ye-
tears. There were
Yes,
tears.
I did. I did. Because when somebody believes in you to become like a sponsor, a supporter of you, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing that people will believe in you. So, anyways,
Yeah, and
the more things you do, the more chances.
And I think the
meeting
more
good
the
people.
more things you do, the more employable you are. You know, I think one thing that when I first started doing YouTube and everything, like you eventually become like a video and editing expert,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So like you end up having these tangential skill sets whether it's doing online advertising, online marketing, just for yourself, that you could actually monetize in different ways.
Exactly.
Like you're so good with like the video stuff, like you could easily probably just support yourself as a video producer.
And I intend to do that soon. That's what I'm working right now.
Yeah, if you haven't seen his videos, like a lot of them are kind of like vlog centric, and like the shots are like amazing.
Thanks, man.
You know,
Appreciate it.
So yeah, all that stuff is just stuff that you end up kind of just accidentally learning, helping yourself to achieve one thing. You know what I mean? So the main point is you just got to do it.
Yeah, you just gotta go for it.
You know, it's easy for musicians to sit around and feel sorry for themselves, like, oh, I don't have a gig, I haven't been seen. It's so easy to be seen nowadays.
Yeah, but
You know?
you just have to remember, do it for the right reasons, and remember those reasons when you're doing anything. If you're gonna be playing the guitar, it's because you love playing the guitar, and if you're gonna be putting videos on YouTube, it's because you love making videos, not because you want to get 100,000 views.
Right. I think that's kind of the most important thing. I've seen a lot of people who do this kind of thing just because they want to be famous. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I think the reality of it is like, do you want to be like a professional or do you want to be famous? Because you can be a professional. Anybody can be a professional if they put the work into it. I firmly believe that. And you might have to move. You know what I mean? Because not every local community can support a certain amount of musicians. But I firmly believe that if you want to be a professional, you can do it. Now, if you want to be famous, I think that's just like a totally different question.
It's a totally different thing.
You know what I mean? And the odds go way, way down. And that's, you know, kind of for the wrong reasons a lot of times. But if you want to be a professional musician, I really honestly think there's never really been a better time. Just because there's so many resources. Just like the gear you need is so cheap. You don't need a great gear. Like anybody's phone is like amazing at doing, you know, what you need it to do.
And in order to survive, you're gonna have to do certain things that you may not like. So also it's good to have your standards too, you know, like where is it that you won't go, like no matter what? Why not? Might as well. We all have standards, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Like I have played Sweet Caroline. You know, they asked me, I don't like the song. They still ask me to play it, and I still play it. But when they say play it again, that's where there's my limit.
Only one Sweet Caroline per gig.
That's where it's my limit. You know what I mean? Set your own limits because you want to survive, but you also don't want to become someone that you know.
You gotta look at yourself.
You gotta like yourself.
Every night. You know?
Yeah. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, "You did good, Andres. You did good today.
You did good.
Great job. I wish I could shake your hand, but I want to get COVID." Just kidding.
So, anyways. Let this be inspirational, because if we can do it, you can do it.
If we can do it, you can do it. Survival.